Yo, this is Plug Events and time have come. The Lion tell them one story. This is the Lion's Voice. Stay tuned.
Well, the event that's being hosted at Lalibela Institute on February 3rd of 2024 is Reasoning and Roots.
Yes.
Now, this is a collaboration between Lalibela Institute and SOS Productions with Brother Iros Levi hailing from Atlanta.
Big
And
up.
the purpose of this collaboration is to bring education, you know, and music together for the Rastafari community so that we can be fed on a multiplicity of levels, so that our irids could be fed and as well as our hearts, we
Yes.
get that from the sound of the music, drum beat, from such time, just bringing those two energies together to make for a very islandful evening, so that Rastafari people can really full joy themselves in a very upful environment where we know it's just people coming together on the same mission, which is just forward ever, backwards never.
Back.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the light. Lion voice. Yeah. Well, I Selassie the first is the Almighty, and this is the Dejazmatch Kwasi. Well, let's face it, the situation on earth shows us that we have to return to the basics. The relationship between the man and the woman, tell me what else going to replace it. Well, enough of them get a chance at true love and waste it. If there's a chance for love, then let us make it. Well, then I've been waiting for the right time. That's why I'm always on the grind. I've been thinking about you at night time. Black woman, you're always on my mind. I pray the Almighty make my light shine, so maybe one day you'll be mine. And together when our energies combine, we'll create life we're so divine. Yo, I know life is never hopeless. I know that she know that he know. She noticed that he focus on how to be her man. See her in the dance, realize he need a plan. Eye contact, she look at him, he look back. He bust a two-step for show him soul intact. He start sweat, he dancing as he approach. She smile when she see him start dance close. She turn her back, then she wind down low. He follow like a whining pro. Her body show how she want things. We got them both smile when she start whine slow.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Dejazmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Panafrican Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney, I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of the Lion Voice. Welcome to the Lion Voice Network, and welcome to this special edition of Lion Talk, where we are going to be highlighting a groundbreaking collaboration between the Lion Voice Network and the Lalibela Institute. We also have some sponsors we're going to talk about. This is a great honor. I tell everyone who comes on this platform that when you come on the Lionverse Network, make sure you know, the Lion Voice Network, make sure you know it's just a part one. And there will be part two, part three, part four. So it's an honor to bring forward good sister, Dr. Rasess Jahzani Kush. Welcome.
Greetings, Rastafari blessing.
Yes, and I want to just welcome the eye forward to the Lion Voice Network. This is the second time we're being graced with the eye presence. Your first interview did very well on the channel. We had a lot of feed forward, a lot of sistering who really full joyed the reasoning and the conversation or the true conversation. So today though, we are going to get right into this special collaboration. The Eye has an event that you have curated and you have invited I and I to participate. Can you just give us some background? What is this event? What is the purpose and what is to be expected?
Well, the event that's being hosted at Lalibela Institute on February 3rd of 2024 is Reasoning and Roots.
Yes.
Now, this is a collaboration between Lalibela Institute and SOS Productions with Brother Iros Levi hailing from Atlanta. And the purpose of this collaboration is to bring education, and music together for the Rastafari community so that we can be fed on a multiplicity of levels, so that our iris could be fed and as well as our hearts,
Yes.
We get that from the sound of the music, drum beat, from such time, just bringing those two energies together to make for a very islandful evening, so that Rastafari people can really full joy themselves in a very upful environment where we know it's just people coming together on the same mission, which is just forward ever, backwards never.
Backward never. And why did you choose? Because my understanding, this is going to be a very intimate event. It's not going to be hundreds of people, less than 100 people. I mean, the venue can only hold a small amount of people. Why did the Eye choose, instead of trying to go wide, you're going deep? Why did the Eye choose to really curate such an intimate event? And what do you think some of the benefits are by as I say, going deep as opposed to trying to aim wide?
Well, the whole idea behind Reasoning and Roots is that level of intimacy that the Eye is alluding to. The first Reasoning and Roots was also held in an intimate venue in Atlanta, O'Youn's Botanical Gardens. That event was held to sponsor the first book that I wrote of a fiction nature, which is Between the Fire and Ice. So that venue was about the same size of Lalibela Institute. And after having it in such an intimate venue, I and I realized this is the route to take. It affords everyone an opportunity to mingle, to network. You understand, to even have an opportunity to have intimate conversations, personal conversations with the author. And it was just absolutely beautiful. Food. It was a really grown folks out type of event.
Yes,
A lot of times people, Rastafari people want to go out. We want to have nice evenings. However, a lot of the environments are not conducive to I and I's our liberty. And so as a result, the brainchild behind the event, Iros Levi, thought about, well, what if we did this? You have your book that's out. We want to push that work because he supports the work. And, this sister has this really beautiful space. So let's just collaborate. And then, you got good food, you have good music, and it just all made for the perfect environment. And so with this event, I'm sorry, Lalibela Institute too is that same type of event. But unlike the last event, and we give thanks for the venue, this event is held at a Rastafari venue. Rastafari owned, Rastafari directed, so the community really gets a chance to feel like they're at home at Roots and Reasoning and Roots Miami edition.
Give thanks. And um, I'm very excited. I'm going to be very honest. I don't get excited easily, but I really love the intimate approach for the grown folks. I like that sound. I want to know, why, in terms of the Lalibela Institute, why did you pair the Lalibela Institute and its mission? And I want you to go into the mission with this event, which is centered on learning and reading and exposing authors. Talk about the natural marriage, or the how those two things come together, which I know are both passions of the eye.
That's right. I am a professor of literature. I'm also a former administrator within public school systems. So definitely education is my passion. But I'm also a former reading teacher, language arts teacher. I'm an avid reader. So I really, really full joy the combining of the two. So after focusing and highlighting between the fire and ice, I wanted to give the opportunity to other Rastafari authors, and so thus the idea to bring the eye forward in with your wonderful work on Haile Selassie the First, and Lalibela Institute is an opportunity for the community to educate itself not only within the K through 12 and the university, subjects, but within Rastafari liberty. You understand? So the courses that Lalibela Institute offers, those courses are tailored to the community. We offer education courses that deal with the Rastafari woman, the Rastafari youth, Rastafari relationships. So we have a plethora of courses within our curriculum that just run the gamut, and all spaces within the liberty are filled when it comes to Lalibela Institute and the way that we look at educating our community.
Would you like to evolve Lalibela Institute into a Rastafari university at some point, or what is the vision for the Lalibela Institute?
Well, the vision is definitely, it is already that university, you understand, because Lalibela Institute is patterned after the iritical concept of a mystery school. So it even supersedes that of what we would consider a typical university, because we know that there are universities and then there are universities.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And so Lalibela Institute is patterned after that higher height that you would get in Jerusalem schoolroom. And so even though many of the people who teach courses at the Institute might have degrees, doctorates, from those outside universities, the elders always would say to I, don't get so much education that you become an educated fool.
Yes.
You understand? Because we know, sometimes we take their education and we think that it's the epitome of knowledge. And in fact, it definitely is just the tip of the iceberg. So I are able to, I know you've seen the movie or read the book, The Spook Who Sat at the Door.
Yes,
So
yeah.
it's really that kind of irit behind it. If you look on my website, you'll see that one of our aims is to take the knowledge that we've learned in those school systems or those universities and use them to help dismantle that system brick by brick.
Okay.
And who better to do that than those who've been trained, just like Carter G. Woodson. He came later and he wrote The Miseducation of the Negro after being educated at Harvard.
Yes.
He really knew what the miseducation of the Negro was really about, you understand? So yeah, it's that type of ideology.
And how do our Rastafari family in South Florida, is there a cost for the event? How can they buy tickets in it? Is there advance ticket purchase, and then also share how one can strengthen Lalibela, because my platform here, Rasess Jahzani Kush, we're about circulating the Rastafari dollar. You know, I'm really trying to cultivate the Lion Pride, which is our community that we're building here, in terms of normalizing us spending with each other, circulating. Because if we're talking about, you know, burning Babylon and the alternative to Babylon, then we have to invest and put our money where our mouth is in terms of the alternative to Babylon. So how do South Florida, and there are limited amount of spaces here, so how do ones reserve to make sure they can attend this groundbreaking event? And then also, how can they support the Lalibela Institute generally?
Okay, so like I said, it is a very quaint setting. The maximum capacity is about 30 people. And so the cost is minimal. It's only $10. And that $10 will, have people be exposed to the eye and the eye's intellectual prowess that we're looking forward to being a part of and experiencing in the flesh.
Yeah.
And as well as, music, and some good ITIL food. ITIL food will be on sale. So for the minimal cost of $10, you get educated or edutained, so to speak, and you get your goodie replenished. You also have the opportunity to browse Lalibela Institute, and to see that it is a multimedia space. You understand? And so I don't even want to go too much into it, because I want people to come and see exactly the house that Rastafari built, and so as far as purchasing tickets, we're taking tickets payments via Zelle, and so I can put that information
We'll put it
up.
up on the screen. We can put it up on the screen.
Okay.
And
All
also
right.
in the description for this video, we can make sure.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great, exactly. So they'll have that way to pay. And I'm encouraging ones to get their tickets early, because it's in a residential area.
Mm-hmm.
So parking is going to be limited. So we're encouraging people to ride share if possible. And if not, just make sure that you get there early. And the event is not going to run very long, and we're going to be punctual. So from 7 to 11. At 11, we're going to seal up. So it's a good solid 4 hours, of fellowship, as well as just, being enlightened.
Have you considered doing an Eventbrite for the event?
There is an Eventbrite for the event.
Okay,
Yes.
so we'll share that.
Okay.
And that's a very good way that we can track
Mm-hmm.
who's coming. So I'm gonna share the information. When you see this, make sure you get your ticket. This is exclusive. I'm also gonna be performing. Talk about the performing aspect, because I love to run out on a stage anytime I get a chance. And Rasta said, "Do you want to perform?" And before she could end the sentence, I said yes, because that is a passion that I don't get to exercise as much as I would love to. Why the performance, and what do you want the people to take away from the performance?
Well, first of all, I want the people to listen to how profound the eyes lyrics are in particular, because there's music, and then there's music, and I think that, I've been to the eyes performances, I've seen the eye live, I've seen your stage presence, but most importantly, one of your biggest supporters, I wouldn't say fans because that's kind of fanatical, but one
Yes.
of your biggest supporters is Sister Rasess Dr. Waletti Beresford. And
Yes.
before I had even met the eye officially, she was saying, "Boy, the Dejazmatch, have you ever heard these lyrics?" And, and so she touted the eye's glory way before I had the pleasure of hearing the eye. And I recently saw the eye perform at one of Habesha's events in Atlanta this summer,
Yes.
and I was really, really impressed. So I had to ask the eye
Thanks.
to perform.
Give thanks.
Yes. So we're
And
looking forward to that.
I love the intimate setting. The Lion Voice Network will be there, so we'll record it. We'll do a special episode with some highlights from the event. I want to big up Dr. Walete. She is part of the Lion Pride on Patreon as well. Always supporting the works,
Yes,
positive
sir.
affirmation. Lalibela Institute has also joined the Patreon. I want to thank the I for not just supporting by providing the platform, but putting money where your mouth is in terms of supporting Rastafari media, multimedia, Rastafari voices, and the importance of us putting out our voice and controlling our narratives. I think it's so crucial. I want I to talk to us about um, two more things. The I has created the blue fire energy. We talked about it in the interview, but I want to give some updates because you have a groundbreaking I cheat coming up that I know that Sistren are interested in, and I heard that and this is exclusive, that there are still some spots available for Sistren. So I want there to talk about the I treat the blue fire, how it all ties in, because the eye is really establishing or carving a place in the history books for the eye works in terms of doing things that have never been done before within the Livity. Talk to us about the blue fire energy and this I treat that's coming up, what to expect, how sisters who are watching can get the final spots, what they need to do, and how it ties into the Institute's mission.
Yes, I. Blue fire is a it's an energy that is the most simplistic way to say it, even though there's really nothing simplistic about it. It is that energy that is a part of the Rastafari woman, and it was given birth, or it was created by what I like to consider the Genesis spark for the Rastafari woman, and that is Empress Waziro Menen Asfa. You
Eileen.
know, looking at the Rastafari man and all of his attributions within the liberty, the world knows who he is. The world knows his voice. The world even knows, his energy. But the Rastafari woman per se, I think that, she is not as out front. I mean, and that's the case with a lot of revolutionary movements. Oftentimes black revolutionary movements, the man is put out front, he's on the front line, and the Rastafari woman in this case is just like those other black women. She has played the role behind the scenes, not a role that's any less, you understand, but just one that is not as visible. However, with the impetus of Blue Fire, that's changing. And that's changing because the roles in the world are changing. Haile Selassie, and what we deem the new race speech, right, talks about how things will change, gender roles will change. We haven't been prepared for these things. And so, in order to be able to fulfill this new race charge, the Rastafari woman's energy is now being focused, being highlighted. And so that is what the blue fire is. It is that I always like to describe it as a laser like precision. It's an energy that is here to do work, is not here to, when I come to play, you understand, just come to make things, correct. Um, and just push forward and stand strong, because the Gideon is, all of I and I are engulfed in it right now. You understand? So when I'm out there, I want to know that whether it's a man or a woman, when our backs are back to back, you understand? When I'm guarding you and you're guarding me, that you're strong, that you're ready, that you're eye paired. And so that's what the eye treat does. The eye treat gets Rastafari Sishra, and this is the fifth eye tree. And so Rastafari women come together to synergize this energy. I and I come together and we collaborate on the direction that we think that the movement should go in. We do a check and balances. You understand? We look at deficits within the liberty and within the movement, and we seek to fill those voids. We want to know what it is that everyone is capable of doing because everyone has a role. Are you a financial wizard? Okay, we need you. You understand? Are you an educator? We need you. Are you an entrepreneur? We need you. We need everyone's skill. So we're really doing an assessment, a needs assessment, which I think is really important. And this needs assessment doesn't just benefit the women, it benefits the entire nation. We just want to make certain that when the sistren are called or when the sistren step forward, because sometimes you don't have to, we're not waiting to be called anymore. We're not waiting for someone to pick up the phone and say, Rasess, you understand, we need you. No, I'm able to look, do an empirical observation, and I know where the holes are. I know where the needs that need to be met are, and I'm willing to step up because the entire nation, right, depends on our collective and joint leadership. And so that's why it's called the Empress Menen Aspa Blue Fire Leadership I Treat. It's not, yes, you're going to be pampered. You're going to be, treated well. Your heavens are going to be filled, but you're going to learn some leadership skills. And if you already come to the table prepared, then you're going to hone those skills. You're going to sharpen those skills, and you're going to also be able to collaborate. So wherever you are, there are some sistren who are at one end of the spectrum where they have this energy, they just never knew how to tailor it. And then there's people like myself who have PhDs in leadership, so we run the gamut. And so that's what the I Treat is about. But this year, the I Treat theme is, are you ready for it?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
The theme is the dawning, right?
Yes.
Of the Rastafari priestess and prophetess.
Okay.
So those are roles that are not public roles. So for example, you won't be in a Rastafari assembly and say, well, that's prophetess so and so or priestess so and so. But doesn't mean that those roles don't exist, right? But this is the first time that Rastafari women who have these energies are coming together collectively to talk about these energies and to see. Remember our reason just a second ago about filling the gaps?
Yes.
Well, we know we have priest so and so and we have prophet so and so. But those gaps, right, when it comes to spirituality, those gaps some of those gaps are not being filled by women who have the same counterpart energy. And so we want to make sure that when we're on the battlefield, we have the priestess and the prophetess along with the priest and the prophet.
And speaking of that, we here on the Lion Voice Network, we just started a program called Lion Love. And I'm making the claim right now, I want someone to challenge that our network has the most Rastafari female voices of any platform on the planet right now. And that's intentional. And what is starting to happen is that brethren are starting to link me one away. How can I link this sister and this thing? And what I would like to know is how we can collaborate if brethren want a blue fire queen in their life. How can the Lion Voice Network and the Blue Fire, because one of the things that I say here is that we're cultivating the Rastafari mind to lead the prosperous Rastafari future. And, we want brethren and sistren to come together because we know that families are the building block of any nation. And, we want our children to have mommy and daddy together. So we can talk off air, but I want to plant that seed that, we can come together. My audience is 95% male. I want to be able to see how we can bridge the gap. I'm going to be doing some things in my Patreon in terms of, for single brethren and sistren, because I think we have to bring courtship forward into the communal setting. You know what I mean? And because that brings the accountability. You know, you can't just deal with a sister in a way if you meet her in that communal context. You have to come proper, and if it doesn't work, what you know, that's life. But I think that we have to do more. Is that something that is spoken about at the retreat in terms of you know, the coupling of I and I sistering with brethren, you know, how to be a wife, how to, you know, to serve in a union. Are those topics touched, and can we collaborate?
Well, definitely those topics are touched upon because now I call that a blue fire woman. I might be a little biased here, but I
Yes.
would say that the blue fire ayatas are the chiefs, the chiefesses of these, you know, of the ayatas. They are the daughters of Zion. You know,
Okay.
and you're asking the founder. So I would say that, and the reason why I say this, and you know, is because these are ayatas, and we also have an order. There's
Yes.
the blue fire I treat,
Yes.
but there's also the Empress Menen Asfa, you know, blue fire order.
Okay.
So out of the I treat, sistrins always want to go deeper. And so out of the I treat was this idea of, okay, now that you've come, now that you know, had some workshops and some lectures, now do you really want to carry out work? You understand, in the name of Rastafari, using our divine mother as a guide. And so if the answer is yes, then those sisters are the daughters who go on to join the order, right?
Okay.
So, you know, you this idea of um, what the blue fire woman, you know, she's a special type of woman, and not every man can handle having a wife who is a leader. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So we have to talk about relationships because ones have to know that, you know, these are going to be daughters who are going to be outspoken oftentimes.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to take leadership roles. They're going to really push their brethren because they're not going to be those type of sisters for the most part who are not go-getters, who are not very productive. And so, yeah, we, you know, if a man is not really grounded within himself, he might find daughters like I and I a little intimidating. You
Mm.
understand? You've had the blue fire. You've had out of the order the sisters, because the order right now has five sisters, right? The founding group is five, and out of the five, I believe you've had four.
I didn't even know that. See?
Yeah, because not everybody knows who's a part of the order. But you had four of I and I on the group. And I'm certain that when one saw these sisters and they heard their voices and they heard the powerful works that they're doing, I'm certain that ones found them admirable. And they really and truly are. And so as far as the collaboration, you've been getting those calls about those ayatas, those flowers in your garden, and I have always have also been getting the call. So, well, the thing is that, you know, many of them are already taken. But
Yes. Yes.
every year, at the highest, the I Treat has had 25 women attend.
Oh
That's
wow.
a lot of
That's a lot.
ayatas.
Yes.
And so, so yeah, I and I definitely would love to be a part of talking about rearranging or really critically looking at Rastafari relationships and using Haile Selassie the First and Empress Menen as the model,
Yes.
right? You've had, because I do a lecture on the lion Haile Selassie the First, you know, from that zodiac sign, and the ram Empress Menen Aspa, the Aries, right? And looking at the coupling of those two energies. We're
Mm.
not looking at male and female, but just from an energy perspective, right? What that type of union was destined to bring forth and what it did bring forth. So
Mm.
I would love to be a part of that because without Haile Selassie the First and Empress Menen Aspa at the center, you know, we won't get where we need to be. So we always have to keep our parents as our primary example.
I agree 1,000%. And so you heard it here, family. There will be some collaboration. We want to bring the Rastafari family to the fore here because that is, I'd say to everyone, Rastafari glory days are ahead of us. The greatest glory of this tribe, a lot of ones talk about the 70s and the 60s and how powerful it was, but I hold fast to the vision that our greatest glory is ahead of us. And that means we have a lot of work to do. So I want the eye.
1 second to
Go ahead.
just match, because I call. I offer a course. Lalibela Institute offers a course called the Haile Selassie First Empressment and Balance. And it's an
Okay.
entire course looking at their union, right? From a real, like I said, a real critical, meaning good, meaning closely inspected view, right? And that would be a wonderful course for brethren and sisters who are interested, even before ones get married. It's a
Yes,
wonderful course for those who are already married, just to kind of juxtapose their relationship, right, with that of their divine majesty. So there's a course already
I love it.
created.
I love it. And how
Yes.
do ones register for courses at the Lalibela Institute?
You simply go on to lalibelainstitute.org or lalibelainstitute.com. I own both domains. And you'll go up under our course catalog and you'll see that course. I believe there's 7 courses that are listed on the website. And so ones could just go in, and what you do is you register for the course, you tell me when you're available to take the course. Either I teach the course or one of my other instructors teaches the course, and we do it Zoom. It's interactive, homework and everything is a part
Okay.
of it. Yes,
Okay.
I.
Okay.
So
And
just go on to the website.
and are you able to share the cost, or you want them to go on the website to see the cost?
Again, everything is affordable. I think the most economical course might be $35.
Oh, yes.
Um, and the higher end course, which is still economical, might be about $75 or
Oh,
77.
that
I think
that's a
that's the number.
steal. That's a steal. Well, I wouldn't even
It
say it's
is.
a steal. It's a bargain.
Yes,
It's a
I.
blessing. If
Mhm.
you take courses, they can be in the hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for some of the courses that they have online. So having a range of Rastafari courses for less than $100 is amazing. And we have a lot of ones who are new to the Liberty, or they may be trotting Rastafari and the only person in their region. These courses are perfect for those ones to be able to interface with a knowledge base. You may not have an elder in your region, you may not have anyone to reason with.
Right.
So I definitely recommend, because we have the Lion Pride now is all over creation. And ones are tuning in with I about how they can learn. So I would definitely recommend going to the Lalibela Institute family, making sure you support these courses. I know Rasess Jahzani Kush academic rigor is very vigorous just by the reasonings that we've had. So I know it's well worth the money, just the time, just taking her time for one session is worth way more than course costs. So we may have to talk about adjusting those prices at some point because your time is so precious. But let us overbook the site. Let's crash the site, Lion Pride. Make sure you go there, support. Let's circulate the dollar, and make sure that we build our institutions. This is institution building time, nation building time. We see the Armageddon is raging, but we have to go internal and do that deep work to make sure that we don't have any weak links as we move into this next phase of
The
the.
Dejazmatch.
Yes, I.
Can I speak briefly about how the I is going to educate the people on February 3rd? Because
Yes,
that's where the eye is going to talk about the eye's work. And I
yes,
remember when the eye was writing this book, and you were so gracious, even before completing your project. You would share, snippets about things that you had found and that you would be sharing, and even, recommended some books outside based on your bibliography that you use. And so just tell the people, because I know people know the eye for this work, for
yes.
bringing the community together, but you are an academic scholar in your own right. So just tell us exactly a little bit about the eye's first book.
So this is a little preview because Rasess is going to interview I as part of the event. So this book is a labor of love. Um, I started when I started university at Howard University, and I tell people I came into this movement as a skeptic. My cousin embraced Rastafari. My religion was womanology at Howard, and I I you know, started as a skeptic because I'm saying, why are they calling this little Ethiopian man name? What is, you know, growing up in Jamaica, of course, the music, the culture, but when it touches your family is a different scenario. So I started doing research. They were challenging in terms of history, and I'm a history buff. So there was so much I realized I did not know. And at the time, I worked at Howard University in the computer lab. So I used to I used to search, and then I would print out little things and I would just file them. So this book really started when I was at Howard University. And what I did over the years is I created a chronological timeline of excerpts from different publications, just putting the piece together in terms of the works of His Majesty. And I realized this is superhuman, because any small facet of this work could have been one man's life legacy. We're talking about building a nation. We're talking about everything from transportation, religion, military, agriculture, every facet of development. When you dig deep into Kadamawi Haile Selassie's work, it really just blows the mind, and I said, this has to be my life work in terms of telling the story because, one book would have a little small part and it's impressive. Another book would have a little small part, it's impressive. But when you put it all together, the picture that you get, none of these books had put the whole story together. Another thing I didn't like is that they separated, Ethiopia from the African story. So I was always, when I was reading about his mind, what was happening in Ghana with the Ashanti at this time? What was going on in Nigeria with the Igbo and the Yoruba, South Africa. So I wanted to write a story that weaved this narrative that connected the dots between the entire Pan-African story and Ethiopia's place in it. Finally, I really want, I have always been an avid reader. I love epic fantasy, The Hobbit. I remember reading these books, Clan of the Cave Bear, this, that, anything I could get my hands on in terms of fantasy and stories, science fiction, Ender's Game. You name, there are so many books that I, as a youth, Lord of the Rings, this, that, I would read, and I love just being lost in these worlds, learning the world building that the authors engaged in. And as I was doing the research on Ethiopia, I realized Ethiopian history had all of the same elements. When you talk about the kingdoms, the intrigue of this king against that king, the rise and fall, the war epic battles that took place, all of these things that we love about the fantasy genre. You would find them in Ethiopia, from warriors who train lions to bees, and there's all these fantastical things in the Ethiopian historical record. And so I wanted to capture that all in one work. So this work is the first volume of a 7-volume journey, on which I catalog the life of His Majesty, the uprising, This book only goes up until 1892, so it really is a book about 1 year, and is really just setting the stage of the birth of the Majesty. Is written, you know, at times in you know, through the perspective of Ras McConnell, um, and it really seeks to just put you in the place, put you in that time machine to kind of look at what was happening in Ethiopia, at the coming of the birth of this baby boy, the implications, how Ethiopia was surrounded. You know, the second chapter, we talk about the Berlin Conference. You know, you get transported to Berlin because I felt it was important to see the dark clouds that were looming. You know, when we say the government shall be upon his shoulder, it was not a joke, because literally, you know, he was, you know, if his reign had not been successful, Ethiopia's 3,000 plus year history of independence would have been sunken and joined in the history of a defeated continent. Literally, Black people would have been defeated all over the planet. However, there was one man standing in the tide. And, you know, I wanted to tell the story of that man, His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the First. And also, I kept in mind, I want to create content from this series. So I will be creating an animated feature. That's one of the things I want to do with this network as we you know, build it, is really be able to create content around I story, I history, you know, from animated features to live action features about the Majesty, about Ethiopia. So, you know, this is kind of the context, the foundation work that will allow us to adapt this story into other formats as well. So we're going to talk about, you know, the different chapters. We have a chapter about the about Sistrin. You know, we talk about Wallo, we talk about Empress Taitu, we talk about the birth of Empress Menen, we talk about you know, so many compelling women played a role in Ethiopian history. They're all in the book. We talk about you know, some of the intrigue. The title is The Rise of the Priestly Warrior Kings. And that's because, you know, we noticed the phenomenon of Ethiopian leadership that, you know, could have easily been high priests, you know, in terms of their knowledge base. All of them fought on the battlefield as well. They could have easily also been considered field marshal generals or warriors, or, you know, warrior kings. And they were also, you know, kings, you know, or king of kings. So this, you know, I found very fascinating, this, because when you read in the Bible, you read about Abraham, you know, you read about King David, you read about, you know, some of the Israelite kings. It's the same model that was replicated, but, you know, King David is a story that was written on scrolls. We couldn't see King David. His Majesty's story was recorded on camera, so that we could all see him fight on the battlefield. And for those who say, well, he was on the battlefield, it was a photo op, I always say, I want you to go into an active war zone and go take some pictures and see how that works out for you. You know what I mean? If that's how you feel about it. You know what I mean? Go into an active war zone, you know, when shot of fire and tanks and bombs are dropping. If you think that's what His Majesty was doing, and tell me how that works out, you know?
Well, the just match. I want to say that it's so exciting to hear the eye talk about all of the components that went together, and how, you know, that's how your mind works. You know what I'm saying? You amass all of this information, and then you were able to succinctly put it together, right? To synergize this narrative that you wanted to tell, you know, from a Rastafari perspective, from a historical perspective. You even tap into your iris, you know, to go in, you know, and look at it from an analytical, iridical view. And that's really important. And I just want to say for um, the viewing audience, especially those in South Florida, right? What a treat this is going to be, because I have always lived in South Florida, and I have always been a part of the Rastafari community here. I know what we've had as far as who's been here. I know who's had an impact, right? And I like to say that this work, I feel like the eyes work is going to kind of recharge the energy and the space. I'm glad that Lalibela Institute is the host for this type of re-energizing, so to speak. And so I'm really encouraging everyone, if you haven't been to the Institute, let this be your first opportunity. What a wonderful first opportunity, because we've had a variety of events there, but you, the eye, is really our first. You are our first lecturer, our first, author to come in outside of myself. You understand? So now I get an opportunity to introduce brethren and sistren that I travel the world with in some cases, right? To come in to my home, literally and figuratively, right? And to share this knowledge. So if one can't travel to a DC, because I know the eye is based out of DC, or sometimes I'm traveling, I'm in St. Croix. So if you can't make those types of travels, right? When this type of event is brought to your home space, take advantage of it. So I'm really, when I hear the I talk about it, and I know how passionate the I, because I'm a part of study group too. I adore study group, and I hear how eloquently the I, narrates and facilitates this along with Brother Johnny. So if ones have just heard the voice, or only just seen the I, out there in the internet world, I want them to come and feel the I's energy, the
Yes, I
electricity of it all. Yeah.
give thanks, and I give thanks for the opportunity. I'm gonna try my best not to be too long-winded at the event. I'm gonna keep so we can do some more question and answer, and I want it to be a conversation. So if you've read the book, make sure you come so we can reason. I'm gonna start writing volume 2 of the book this year, which is gonna take us up until the crowning of His Majesty of the Dejazmatch. So it's going to be from 1892 to 1906, a huge chunk of time. But we're going to cover the Battle of Ottawa, and some of the other things culminating. If you read the last chapter of the book, is actually the first chapter of volume 2. So it's like a end credit scene, sneak preview, when you read the last chapter, which it's a chapter that jumped out at me from the autobiography, and it talks about when His Majesty went to Ras McConnell's funeral in Addis Ababa, and he was walking, followed by Ras McConnell's army, which was one of the most powerful armies in the realm. A small, 5 foot tall, 13-year-old controlling one of the greatest armies in Ethiopian history. And, we know prophetically, as they say, a child shall lead the way. And we know that, the government and the whole Addis came out to look at who is this powerful child that have, wielding all of this power. And of course, we know how responsibly His Majesty wielded that power as the Ancient of Days. So that, is how we end the first book. A little spoiler, but you still have to read it because the writing style and everything. But that's where we're going to start volume 2, and then we're going to go back to 1893 and take you up to the Battle of Ottawa, and then take you up to his Ras McConnell's passing, and why His Majesty was bestowed the title of the Dejazmatch at such a young age by Emperor Menelik, and what happened. So I'm very excited to start writing volume 2. So we'll talk about that a little bit. So make sure you come. The ITAL is going to be exquisite. I know this is going to be top quality sip. So make sure you come and get yourself some of the ITAL. Make sure, I'll be signing books if you need to get your book signed, if you need to buy a copy, if you need to buy some gifts for family and friends. We'll have books on deck. We may have some surprise guests that we'll announce that may also be there. So stay tuned for announcements here on the Lion Voice. Again, the Lion Voice Network will be there. So we will be filming the highlights to bring a special episode. So I'm overjoyed and excited. We already have hit an hour. I want the eye to, again, before we seal up, just tell the people how they can purchase their advance tickets. And this event is going to sell out. So get your ticket early. Tell the people how they can tune in, and then tell the people how they can tune in for the I Treat for the sister in them. Make sure you get the last few spots for the I Treat, and we will come forward after the event to do a post-event wrap up. And I want the item to get used to the beautiful face of Rasess Jahzani Kush, because she's gonna be here a lot of times. You know, we don't just come on this platform 1 or 2 times. We're building community here. We're building family here. So I want the item to get used to all of the members of our family that are doing works, the frontline workers. And I want you to get used to spending your money. We're getting ready to head into hyperinflation. The American dollar, all these dollars are not going to be worth much soon. While they have value, let us circulate them. Let us strengthen our family members. This 2024 is going to be a rocky year. I already feeling the energy. It's going to be a year of global war, upheaval, catastrophe. But as a family, the more we can come together and tighten up this bond that we have, this unity, this love, it's going to be greater for us. So tell us how they can get the tickets one more time, and then also how they can sign up for the retreat, and then finally how they can support with their dollars the work of the Lalibela Institute. I want people sending their money to the Institute so that she can afford to hire staff, upgrade equipment, buy more property, build in the continent, everything. So please just share how they can support.
Yes, I. So as far as paying for your ticket, you can Zelle, and it's a very simple, name. You can just send your Zelle to lalibela.org@gmail.com. That's the email address, lalibela.org@gmail.com. It's only $10. If you can't attend and you just want to sponsor and you want to just support, then just send your $10, because you've already heard everything that's happening at the Institute. We have the courses that are being taught, we have the lectures that are going on. We have summer camps for youths. We have winter break camps, spring break camps. Education is always happening. And as we know, education is liberation, right? As far as the I Treat is concerned, there are about 3 more slots available. The I Treat is very affordable. For 4 days and 3 nights is $500. And I don't care. I don't know where you're going to go to find something like that, because as people know, I Treats run in the thousands of dollars. Okay, so you have 3 slots available. If you are interested, then you can reach out to me, that same email address, lalibela.org@gmail.com. If you just be on the lookout, look at my website, lalibelainstitute.org, lalibelainstitute.com. If you're interested in seeing what activities are happening, I have 3 books that I've written on Rastafari women. So if you can't come to an I Treat and you want to buy a book, there's another way to support. So there are a plethora of ways to support the work that's being done for Rastafari by Rastafari. Authentic work. I've been in the movement for over 36 years, since I was 16 years old, and I've never stopped doing this work, and I never will stop doing this work.
And give thanks. And I also recommend, and we'll put it in the end credits, to go and watch Lion Talk featuring Rasess Jahzani Kush, and you'll hear about her uprising in South Florida and some of the works there, her story from her own voice. So definitely support. As you heard, you can send Zelle. You don't have to be going to the I Treat, the event, anything, just Zelle the money. Family, Lion Pride, let's show up for our sister if you're a part of the Lion Pride, there are 2,075 of us as we speak. If all of us send $10, that is a mighty, mighty strength. So if you're a part of the Lion Pride and you're watching this video, just make sure you go ahead and send a Zelle and let us support Rastafari work. The support is more important than ever this year, family, because of what's coming. We are not prepared as a global Rastafari family, but we can get prepared by really taking it seriously. The same way that we invest to go to a Babylon movie, the same way that we spend on Netflix, the same way that we spend on Amazon Prime, we spend on all of these platforms that we have. We can also make sure some of those dollars goes to Rastafari owned platforms. If we're not doing that, then we're joking, family. And I won't mince words because the time is so serious. So I want to just give thanks to the Rasess Jahzani Kush. It's always a pleasure. I'm looking forward to coming forward to the South Florida area once again, seeing the family in the flesh for this sold out event. It's going to be, as the young people would say, a movie. I'm on the cutting edge, you know. So
Oh,
it's
yes,
gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit. And I'm working on a special set. I'm gonna debut. I just recorded a song with Tippy I Grade
No?
or the Saint Croix. I'm gonna debut that song live at the event. I did a little piece of it in Jamaica at the Kingston Night Market, but this is gonna be intimate setting. So you're gonna get to see that live. Big up Tippy I Grade. Big up all of the family globally who has been supporting the platform. Any final words before we seal Rasess, Dr. Jahzani Kush?
I just want to encourage the nation, right, globally, to just continue doing the right. You understand? To just continue doing the right in any way that one can, you know, whether it be going out there and being an advocate for your community, whether it means teaching the little youths within your neighborhood who might not even be Rastafari, but who need to see an example of righteousness and upward energy, positive energy. Just continue to do those things that you know will be sealed and sanctioned by their divine majesties, and I can go wrong with that direction. You know, give thanks.
Direct from the lioness's mouth. And you know what we say here on the Lion Voice Network, that the time has come for the lions and lionesses to tell our own story. And this is the Lion Voice.
Lion Voice. Yeah. Well, Haile Selassie the First is the Almighty, and this is the Dejazmatch Kwasi. Well, let's face it, the situation on earth shows us that we have to return to the basics. The relationship between the man and the woman, tell me what else going to replace it. Well, enough of them get a chance at true love and waste it. If there's a chance for love, then let us make it. Well, then I've been waiting for the right time. That's why I'm always on the grind. I've been thinking about you at night time. Rock woman, you're always on my mind. I pray the Almighty make my light shine, so maybe one day you'll be mine. And together when our energies combine, we'll create life, we're so divine. Yo, I know life is never hopeless. I know that she know that he know. She noticed that he focus on how to be her man. See her in the dance, realize he need a plan. Eye contact, she look at him, he look back. He bust a two-step for show him soul intact. He start sweat, he dancing as he approach. She smile when she see him start dance close. She turn her back, then she wind down low. He follow like a whining pro. Her body show how she want things. We got them both smile when she start whine slow. Hey yo, then I've been waiting for the right time. That's why I'm always on the grind. I've been thinking about you at night time. Black woman, you're always on my mind. I pray the Almighty make my light shine, so maybe one day you'll be mine. And together when our energies combine, we'll create life we're so divine. Yo,